Here at the Backstage Pass, one of my favorite things to do is to welcome on those powerful vocals and just great artists that are doing big things out there in all different genres of music. And pleased to welcome in the multi-talented, and of course he was with the Queen Extravaganza for a long time, played a pivotal role in the movie that came out last year, Bohemian Rhapsody. As the singer-songwriter, he does it all. Marc Martel joins us here on the program. And Marc, how are things, buddy?
Doing pretty good, staying busy. On the road right now with Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith on the Christmas tour.
Okay. Well, how's that tour going for you guys so far?
Pretty great. We're in Grand Rapids tonight, and that's the fourth stop of the tour, really hitting our stride. And, man, I tell you what, super huge honor for me. I grew up with their music, both of them, and just to be included and they're kind of like synonymous with Christmas for me, at least for me. And it's really awesome to share the stage with them.
Well, talk a little bit about, because I know the YouTube videos, like I said, went viral, and it spawned an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, a while back, and also the surviving members of the band Queen on American Idol, plus you spent 13 years recording and touring the globe with Canadian rockers down here, too. Just talk about your story and how, man, it's come full circle to kind of getting to the movie last year. We kind of mentioned at the top of the show, Bohemian Rhapsody. Talk about your experience, your love for music, and kind of how you got started with those viral videos, which translates now to what you're doing today.
Yeah, well, that's a long story to tell. I'll try to give you the cliff notes. I grew up in a pretty musical home. My dad's a pastor. My mom is the choir director in the church, still to this day. And so, I grew up with always having a stage available to me, even when I didn't want it, you know what I mean? And so, took piano lessons, taught myself guitar, started writing songs in my teens. But I grew up in a part of the world like Montreal in Canada where I didn't know a single person who was doing music for a living. And so I never really saw that really as a career path for myself until I went off to college in Western Canada and met some guys there, and we started a band, and then we got signed to a record label in Nashville, Tennessee. I've lived there for almost 20 years now. And really early on in my band's career, I started getting comparisons to this Freddie Mercury guy who I wasn't very familiar with. I didn't grow up listening to Queen at all. They just weren't on my family's radar. I heard Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time in the movie Wayne's World. But even then, I was like in my mid-teens. My voice wasn't mature enough to really know that I was going to sound like him one day. And then when I started doing shows with my band down here, almost after every single show, you get like a handful of people coming up to me saying, "Hey, you know who you sound like? You know who you sound like? You really remind me of." And my bass player is a huge Queen fan, and he said, "Marc, you really ought to check out Queen." And so I bought their greatest hits, got into that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is, of course, I know so much of this music." And I think a lot of people experience Queen that way. They don't realize how many Queen songs they know, because one Queen song to the next can sound like a totally different band. You go from Bohemian Rhapsody to another one, Bites the Dust, and there's like very little significant similarities there. And I thought that was just going to be like maybe a cool party trick that I could pull out every now and then. And if you're going to be compared to anyone, it may as well be someone who's considered like the best in their field, right? So it's always a comparison or a compliment to be compared to Freddie in any way. But I never thought it would really add up to anything until in 2011, sort of this thing that honestly I'd sort of daydreamed of before, like, because YouTube was starting to become a thing, and I thought, what if I put up a video of myself singing a Queen song and somehow someone from Queen heard it and thought, wow, we got to meet this guy or whatever, So then in 2011, sure enough, Roger Taylor decided to use the power of the internet to pull together a band, really, of people from all over North America, and you audition by uploading a video of yourself. And so I thought, hey, why not? Even though I've got this other band going on, I thought maybe this could be a fun side gig every now and then. And so I uploaded my audition video, and as you well know, it went immediately viral and kind of changed the course of my life. And people like Ellen DeGeneres were asking for interviews, and I thought that was pretty cool. And so, for the last, I guess, 7 or 8 years now, people have kind of come to know me as that guy that sounds like Freddie Mercury, and kind of walking that line as an artist, to be myself while also giving people what a lot of people just want to hear, someone who sounds like Freddie Mercury sing live and do it like he's still alive, and so it's been a really fun journey. It's still ongoing.
Of all the great songs they had out there, of course, for many, many years, and were the legendary group that they were. As far as the songs you got to cut on the Queen Extravaganza, the official tribute show, and the tour, you guys were doing 160 shows or more, featuring, for about 6 years or so. I guess when you're out there on tour with the fans, and of course, what was your favorite song, or maybe a couple of songs that you got to cut out there, either live show or doing it in studio?
Well, I'm still doing it pretty much. I mean, this year I was on the road full time with my band. It's a different band now. We're called the Ultimate Queen Celebration. Mm-hmm. So we're still doing the tribute show. And favorite song, man. I mean, I almost have to frame it like, what's my favorite song besides Bohemian Rhapsody? Because I mean, you just can't beat that. But like, I love Under Pressure because I get to share the lead vocals with someone else in the band for that song, and it's just such a great tune. I love performing Love of My Life as well because it's a really nice, intimate moment that I like to dedicate to Freddie Mercury. So there's so many great songs. You can fill 2 hours with Queen music that's just all number one hits. So it's hard to miss.
And I know, too, you've done some work, Symphonic Queen with the Philharmonic Orchestra of Mexico. What's that experience been like as far as the symphony halls and also Symphonic Queen with Philharmonic Orchestra?
Well, one of my dreams as a musician has been to be part of an orchestra. And even at a young age, I thought, maybe I'll be a pianist one day, or I'll play the trumpet. I played a little bit of trumpet in high school. Now I get to be backed by an entire orchestra, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I do that a lot in Mexico, as you said. I got to perform actually with the Boston Pops this year, which was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they play a song the first time through. They're reading the music for the first time, and it sounds like a perfect recording. So there's nothing more emotionally satisfying than to hear just a stack of violins playing, live right behind you, and it just kind of bolsters you as a performer. It's I want to do more of that. I'll say that.
It sounds really good. Again, Marc Martel joining us here in the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com and presented by scmedia.us, our official Backstage Pass sponsor. I want to talk a little bit about the new album, of course, the Christmas Collection, which is out right now. It's Christian gospel. People can go get it now wherever music is sold right now. And welcome back here to the show again. That was All I Want for Christmas from singer-songwriter Marc Martel here in the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com and presented by scmedia.us. So let's talk a little bit about this project. The Christmas Collection is out now, available wherever music is sold. And I mean, great selection of songs. I know you guys are very, very proud of this album, and I know just putting some of the classics on there had to be really fun.
Absolutely. And Queen sort of, even though there's no Queen music on this album, they kind of made their way onto the album anyway, because that song, All I Want for Christmas, I sort of had the idea of kind of ripping off Crazy Little Thing Called Love and imagining what All I Want for Christmas would sound like if Queen were performing it. So that's kind of how I recorded that one. But yeah, I've been recording this album for over the last 3 years, really. So I've literally been immersed in Christmas music for 3 years straight. Like, recording, the Christmas song, for example, in mid-June in the sweltering heat of Nashville. So I haven't really gotten much of a break from Christmas, but good thing I love it. And my wife, when we first got married 9 years ago, she made me promise that eventually I'd record a Christmas album for her, and it's become a lot more than that. So I'm getting a lot of great response from Christian radio, and I've had from 3 years in a row, I've had at least a top 10. So it's been really encouraging.
Now, I know in 2016 you continued the Down Here tradition. The EP came out, The Silent Night, and kind of brought you back to the Christian radio charts too as well with the Billboard AC Monitor Top 10 single, What Child Is This? And had a lot of work on that too. And also I know Ron Block, Alison Krauss, Union Station was featured on that too. Talk about that project a little bit.
Yeah, man. The Christmas album is full of collaborations, and that's something I've really learned. There's so much fun to bring other people with amazing talents in, like Ron Block, who is one of the world's greatest banjo and acoustic guitar players, who also lives in Nashville, and He's a friend of mine, and just amazing just to hand him off a song. It was, what child is this? And I said, hey, man, I'd love to hear what you would do with this track. And he handed it back to me. I was like, oh, my goodness, and that was actually the first collaboration I did on this record. And it turned out so well that I wanted to keep going and bring in other friends and great musicians on the project. Like this year we did Silver Bells with Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith, and that turned out amazing. And I'm really learning of the power of bringing in other people into your music instead of keeping it all to yourself, which something that took me a while to get over that whole thing, because I'm kind of protective of my music. And I think once you realize that other people can enhance your music and only make it better, it's really freeing.
Let's go back a little bit to Bohemian Rhapsody. What a great film it was to put together that came out last fall. And I think, like we said, we kind of hit on the top a little bit about really just depicted a lot about the storyline. Of course, Freddie Mercury and the guys coming together, and I thought it really told a great story. As far as your involvement in the movie, what was one of your favorite parts? I mean, I know you laid down a lot of the vocals, a lot of the tracks that came with it too, but as far as getting contacted by, the personnel getting involved with that project, I mean, it had to be quite an experience to just, lay down a bunch of the tracks for that movie.
Yeah, obviously I've had a relationship with the members of Queen for the last 7 or 8 years, and I remember back in 2012, the manager of Queen, Jim Beach, told my manager at the time. He said, we've got this movie that we're trying to get made, and we got to find the right actor, the right director, and the right script, and it's all kind of all these moving pieces that have to perfectly align to get greenlit for Hollywood and all this stuff. Once that happens, we'd love to get Marc on board to help us out with any vocal stuff that we might need. And I remember thinking, oh man, that would be so fun. I've never done anything in the movie world at all. Mm-hmm. But I thought, I know enough about Hollywood and how things move that movies like this tend to take forever to get made, But sure enough, 2016, we get a call from the producers of the movie, and they said they'd love to have me on board. And of course, I was very much more than happy to say yes and lend my voice to whatever they needed. So, got to fly to England a few times to go do some vocal work, and man, it was just really surreal.
Now, with the holidays coming up here in just a few weeks, we talked about the Christmas collection, which is out there right now, and of course, getting a chance to kind of be with family. What are some of the plans for the upcoming holidays?
Well, my wife and I are kind of taking it easy this year. We're staying home, and we've had literally the busiest year of my entire career. Been doing this for 20 years now, and it's only getting more busy again. And that's a good problem. Good working musician is a happy musician. I've been to like 5 continents this year, and didn't have much more than 2 or 3 days at home every few weeks. And so for the Christmas season, we're playing it low key, man, and just having a cozy Christmas in Nashville.
Nothing wrong with that, too. Again, Marc Martel joining us here in the Backstage Pass, again presented by scmedia.us. Now, as far as songwriting goes, we talk to a lot of artists here on the program, and of course, I know it is a craft, and it takes a lot of talent to be able to put out the right song, as far as writing it down and then getting into studio to record it. What do you think, I guess, overall in your experience in 20 years of doing this, kind of makes the perfect song? Where do you kind of draw that inspiration from?
Well, I always go back to the old adage that is an adage because it's true, write what you know. Mm-hmm. The song that has endured the most for me is actually the first Christmas song that I wrote, and I wrote that back in 2006, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's called How Many Kings, and I just kind of we were commissioned by our record label at the time to write a Christmas song for a compilation, and I thought, oh man, that's a daunting task to try to write something new for Christmas. I mean, you've got these evergreen songs that people just want to go to every Christmas, and who wants to hear new music at Christmas? There's some, you just want to go back to the old familiar things. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it personal. I'm going to write about what my favorite thing about Christmas is, and for me personally, that is the fact that the Christmas story is something that you would never expect. It's like the exact opposite way that you would choose to save the world, and that's how I wrote that song, and that's kind of what I try to take into any song that I know, is not try to sound too smart and too clever, but just kind of write what has been on your mind for you have your whole life to draw from, and everyone has a different life, and everyone has a unique perspective.
I know you've done a lot of performances, 10 nights at the Calgary Stampede and various sporting events, the San Francisco Giants, the Phoenix Suns, the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, what's that experience like, of course, going out there and just, no matter what it is, just grabbing the mic and just having a good old time in front of the crowd?
Yeah, man, when you string them all together that way, that sounds pretty amazing. I remember when you say Calgary Stampede, what goes through my mind is 150 feet in the air on a flying piano. And it's exactly what it sounds like. And, it is just so amazing, and especially with Queen's music. They're the only band, one of the only acts in the world where you can go literally to any country and pretty much anyone on the street can sing you at least 2 of their songs. So that's opened a lot of doors for me. It's given me a lot of opportunities to play in really so many weird situations. A lot of sporting events. I got to play a few half times for the NFL last year, and done the NBA, and it's just amazing how everyone loves the music so much.
So this whole thing, for going 20 years, and like you said, it's a long time for a career path to get there too. But I guess looking back at it, what's been kind of your favorite part or parts of just being a musician?
I think the best part for me, I'm a real homebody. If I was left to my own devices, I'd probably just stay home and write music all the time, and hang out with my cats and my wife. but being a musician as a career, has really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. It's really allowed me to see the world. Literally, I've been all over the world already, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. And so it's really given me a rich life. A pretty, I'd like to think, a nicely rounded view of what life on Earth is like. I get to see a lot of different cultures and meet a lot of different people, and I love that perspective.
Again, Marc Martel joining us here on the show. So I remember that one is such a classic, and like you said, it's always good this time of year to keep the music pretty simple, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Another fantastic song, Marc. Congrats on that one.
Thank you very much, and shared the vocals with Plum, who I've known about for many years and never really worked with her before we recorded this song. And I knew that she was going to kill it. She's such a great singer, but I remember the first moment she opened her mouth behind the microphone and in the studio the day that we recorded, she brought this like old-timey 20s vibe to the whole thing, and she really killed it. I love that track.
Well, I'll tell you what, another one of my favorites off of there, and I love Christmas music, I had to go get the album, no doubt about it, was Silver Bells, and I know you did that with Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith, and looking back at Silver Bells, I mean, such a great song that people hear at different times, especially this month. I mean, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade plays different versions of it, and of course the Christmas holidays, people go to New York or anywhere on the East Coast, you hear it through in and out stores where you go. What was the idea behind Silver Bells? I mean, you guys nailed that one too. Yeah, well, we wanted to, I knew I wanted to do a song with Amy Grant, and I'm just such a fan of hers, and I think this was even before I was confirmed as far as being on this Christmas tour. But the thing with Amy is that she's recorded pretty much every Christmas song under the sun, if you look at her repertoire, and it was really challenging to find one that she had never done, and Silver Bells just happened to be one of the last few picks left, and so that was kind of a no-brainer, because it's one of the only ones she hadn't recorded that's actually well known. And so, and once I got confirmed to be on the tour, we thought, hey, why don't we get all 3 artists on the tour to do this together? And so Michael came in and did his thing too. Now, I know spring of 17, I remember you did some vocals for TBS, Pepsi, and also the Conan's television show out there that aired nationally at the same time. I guess it's always fun when you get a chance to put some vocals down on projects like that, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I love recording. I get to do stuff like that just from the comfort of my own home. Sometimes I get a call from a corporation and say, hey, we love your voice. We want this to sound like Queen, for example. And so, yeah, I get to just make some coffee in the morning and go to my studio and give them what they want.
Nothing wrong with that, too, as well. Again, Marc Martel joining us here on the program. Now, as far as the, I guess, the sports world out there, too, again, we talked a little bit about performing at those live events, too, but being in Nashville there, do you guys get a chance to kind of watch the Predators? Do you guys get a chance to watch some of your favorite pro teams or college teams up there in Nashville?
Yeah, man. I mean, as a musician, I had to make a decision between sports and music probably late in high school. I was a bit of a jock. I played baseball and football and basketball, but I knew that wasn't going to be a career thing for me. So once I went full steam towards music, I kind of left sports a little bit behind. But my manager is the biggest sports fanatic that I know, and he's all about Ohio State football, and so I get to cheer with him alongside that. But yeah, we check out he's got season tickets at the Nashville Predators, and so I kind of get my sports fix through him, and of course a lot of my friends. But the saddest sports story for me is the fact that the Montreal Expos don't exist anymore, and there's always talks about them coming back, and I get excited, and then I get disappointed every time. So try not to think about it too much.
Yeah, of course. Now World Series champion Washington Nationals, formerly Montreal Expos, would have won the title had they still been.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I try to remind people every time the subject of the strike comes up, because Montreal was in first place the year of the strike, and they might still be around had the strike not happened.
That's great. That's correct in '94. Never forget too. And the MVP of that year was Astro fans down here was Jeff Bagwell, a guy that played first base for the Houston Astros too for that year too. Now I know also too, speaking on that sports theme, you did opening night Kentucky Derby, the biggest horse race out there for many years that comes around. What was that like playing the Kentucky Derby?
Oh, it's so fun. I've never gotten to experience that whole culture. It's a whole culture unto itself, and you place a few bets, you wear a fancy white jacket or whatever you got in the closet, and it was just fun. It was hot. I remember it being pretty hot and muggy because we played outside. But it's a pretty unique thing.
Well, I tell you, Marc, we appreciate you kind of dropping us a line here on the program once again and spending some time with us again. MarcMartelmusic.com, and of course the Christmas collection is out there right now with Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith on tour. Be sure you get your tickets for that too. And Marc, always a pleasure having you here on the program. Thanks so much for the first time. We look forward to hopefully catching up sometime next year. And happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you so much.
You too, Brandon. Great chatting with you.
That's Marc Martel. Again, MarcMartelmusic.com for more information on the tour dates and, of course, the Christmas